Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. Tom Leach along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Simulcasting. This is one of two podcasts that we're doing this weekend because of the Derby preps that are being run in Florida and Louisiana. So make sure to check out the other podcasts, checking on 4 of the graded stakes races at Gulfstream. For this one, we will check in on 3 graded stakes races at the fairgrounds, plus also the Southwest Stakes run Sunday at Oaklawn Park. Jim, we'll start with the 8th race. It's the Grade 3 Mineshaft Handicap for 4-year-olds and up at 1 mile and an eighth. Big field here. Who did you like?
Well, I really wanted to pick Nate's Mineshaft, winning a race named for his daddy, but I don't think he can beat Hard Aces. Hard Aces really looks good right now, and Larry Jones is killing it. He's 31% at fairgrounds and 29% for the year, and a perfect prep last time in Louisiana Handicap, and he won by 4, and very impressive. So I think Hard Aces fits very well here. Red Rifle has a lot of speed, the 6-horse for Pletcher, and if he gets out to an easy lead, he could go a long way. He's never been to fairgrounds. That's a strike against him, but Bejarano comes in to ride. And the other horse that I like at a price is Class Leader, the 10. James Graham takes it for Neil Howard, and he had a perfect prep race last time in a $62,000 optional claimer at fairgrounds. And second off a layoff, everybody's good at that, but Neil Howard probably is as good as anybody, and the horse had a 95 buyer after only going in the 80s the last few times. So Class Leader is my price here, but I'm going to take Hard Aces on top of one horse.
It's who I liked as well. 3 for 5 at the fairgrounds, and just ran a 104 buyer, and like I said, it just looks like he's in top form. I'm with you on Class Leader. I almost picked him, but not wild about the 10 post, but I think this track's a good fit for his style, and so I'm going to key Hard Aces. He's the win pick, and I'll use him with Class Leader, with Red Rifle, and with the 5 Irish U-Well, who they look like they had pretty high opinion of by places in which they put him last summer. 9th race, the Grade 3 Fairgrounds Handicap. This is on the turf for 4-year-olds and up at about 1 mile and an eighth. And I went with Pyrite Mountain here. Pletcher's 27% with a second off the layoff. And this one's shipping over from Gulfstream. Got a bad trip last time, and this horse has had second-itis. So that's don't normally like to go for those horses, but I think maybe this is a spot where he could break through. He just, was a head bob away from a couple of nice wins last year, so his record could look much different. But again, there's the old Bill Parcells line, you are who you say you are. But I'm going to try Pyrite Mountain, hopefully get a little bit of a price. Use him with the 6 Quadrivium, the 8 Trace Creek, the 1 Glenard, and the 3 Highball. How about you?
I'm going to take one you didn't mention. I'm going to take Sky Ring. Based on the last race out of San Gabriel, ran 2 lengths behind Finnegan's Wake, and Finnegan's Wake came back and won again pretty impressively. And that race came back really strong. If you remember, we handicapped the stakes race 2 weeks ago, I guess, at Santa Anita, and all the horses that came out of there came back, and Finnegan's Wake won, and Power Ped came back and won. So I think that's a key race, and I think Sky Ring shipping down to fairgrounds for Neil Drysdale, I think is a good pick on top, and I'm going to take him with Mike Smith. Grand Motion, first time North America Glenard. He is 37% out of 19 horses, first time North America. So I think Glenard has a shot. First Lasix as well. And then the other horse that I like, Villandry, is always there. David Carroll is training now, took over for Charlie Lopresti, and I don't know, David Carroll's 5 for 16 at fairgrounds, so that might be a good angle down there, coming out of the Bradley Handicap where he didn't really run that well. But Villandry is my third pick, but I'm going to take Sky Ring, the 10 on top.
10th race, Rachel Alexandra. It's the Grade 3 renewal for 3-year-old fillies at 1 mile and a 16th. It's the race that got Untappable started on her big 3-year-old season last year. Who'd you go for?
I started to go for I'm a Chatterbox off that last win. She won the Silver Bullet Day for fun, but I went back and looked at it, and West Coast Belle was really compromised at the start, and I just did not run her race. She went off as a 2-to-1 second choice there. Forever Unbridled was also in the same race, and she ran well. But I'm a Chatterbox. Got an easy lead. It was kind of a freaky race, and I don't think that she'll repeat that, especially from the 10-hole. Although Larry Jones, like I talked before, is on fire, so maybe she'll win by 10. But I'm going to try to bet against her. I'm going to take West Coast Belle on top, And also Angela Renee is intriguing. She was a very promising 2-year-old, and she won the Chandelier, the Grade 1 Stakes at Santa Anita. Came back in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies and went off as a favorite and had a terrible trip, and then she didn't run into Demoiselle at Aqueduct. But Fletcher gets them ready, and this is her 3-year-old debut, and she's obviously well thought of, so I'm going to give her a shot in there as well. West Coast Belle and I'm a Chatterbox are my top 2 picks, however.
I'm going to take I'm a Chatterbox because mainly of Larry Jones. She just showed a big improvement in her first start for him, and I'm going to bet that she comes right back and runs another big one. I also like the fact that she won first out at Keeneland last fall, and that usually tells you a horse has got a good bit of talent when they can do that. I'm going to use her with 4 West Coast Belle, the 8 Forever Unbridled, and also the 1 Shook Up I'll throw in there as well. But I'm a Chatterbox the pick for me. 11th race, the Grade 2 Risen Star for 3-year-olds at a mile and a 16th. And I started to go up 2 or 3 different directions in here. I think J.S. Bach is real dangerous, even off a maiden win, because I think this is one that the Fletcher barn, from what you hear, is really, really high on. But that's given away a lot of experience to some others in here. So I ultimately took a shot with Keen Ice. Started to go Imperia, who ran well in his dirt debut last fall down at Churchill. But Keen Ice, I liked his 3-year-old debut. It was a big improvement. I like to see horses first time out as a 3-year-old make a big improvement from their 2-year-old year. He's working great. They go for the top local rider in Graham. And I think the late running, style, off the pace styles are going to be a good fit for the fairgrounds. So I'm going to go for an upset here, swing for the fences with Keen Ice, and use him with J.S. Bach, with Imperia, and with International Star. Who'd you go for?
I'm going to go for a bigger upset. I think this race is made for an upset. I think you can make a case for a lot of horses, but like J.S. Bach, scratched out of the Southwest to go here. Imperia lost to El Kabir, and the El Kabir, came back and didn't run that great. I think you make a case for War Story with DeSormo coming in to ride for Amos. I think you make a case for International Star, who won the LeCompte. I'm going to take a real swing here, and I'm going to say Larry Jones might have a sleeper in Bluff. That race that he broke his maiden on January 22nd, when you see it in the comments, says eased up final 1/16th, he literally could have won that by 15 lengths. And he's getting really good at a good time. Larry Jones is hot, as we talked about in the previous races. So I'm going to go for a price here, and I'm going to say Bluff has got a shot. And if you get 12-1 on Larry Jones Fairgrounds, you better take it. War Story, Keen on Ice is one I would also use underneath because Dale Romans was high on this horse, and I actually had a tip on him in the Holy Bull, and he got blown away by Upstart and Frosted, but he was pretty much there with the rest of them. And the 88 Buyer does bode well for his future. I think Tisnell RJ has a shot for Asmussen. So it's a great betting race, but I'm going to go for a price with Bluff, the 3-horse.
As you can tell by our picks, it's be a good race to spread out. If any kind of horizontal wagers, you'd want to have several options by the time you get to this leg.
It might be an all.
Well, that's not the worst suggestion either. Let's finish up with the Oaklawn Derby prep. That's the Grade 3 Southwest for 3-year-olds at a mile and a 16th. It's their 8th race. Was slated to be run on Monday, but because of the weather, gets rescheduled, and it's on the Sunday card. And who did you take in the Southwest?
Well, if Mr. Z could ever run straight, I would take him. But I watched the last couple of races, and I mean, he had the Smarty Jones one, and he almost did a right-hand turn out to the grandstand and far right, and Baird came back and got him. But I don't think he's a good bet at the price that you're going to get on him. He may be 5-2 or 3-1. So I'm going to take far right over him. But the horse that intrigues me a little bit is a horse called Hillbilly Royalty for Donnie Von Hemmel. And the horse broke his maiden last November and came back on February 6th and won by 4.5, and actually fought with another horse the first half mile and put him away and got a 93 Buyer. So that horse has got a lot of upside. Mr. Z he could win by 10 if they get him straightened out, and they're going to bring Corey Nakatani in. So Court or Mike Smith couldn't get him straightened out, so maybe Nakatani can. But I'm gonna take far right barely, but I'm gonna put Hillbilly Royalty and Mr. Z in my trifectas.
I'm going to go for Bold Conquest. Asmussen horses typically don't have bullet works, and this one has 2 of them in preparation for his 3-year-old debut. And I thought he improved when he went around 2 turns for the first time last year. And for the price, I'm going to bet on those workouts mainly and take Bold Conquest at a bit of a price and use them with Far Right, the 6, with Bayard, the 1, and with the 2 Majestico for Lucas. The things you mentioned about Mr. Z plus the 11 Post I don't like, so I'm gonna try to keep him out of the top 2, and I think if you do, could be nicely rewarded there in the Grade 3 Southwest Stakes. Best of luck on all your handicapping this weekend. Don't forget, we have another podcast on the races at Gulfstream, headlined by the Grade 1 Fountain of Youth Stakes, so make sure you check that out. Keep your Keeneland Select accounts funded if you can't get out for simulcasting, which does resume on Saturday. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach, and it's the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.